up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm outside of the Plastic Surgery Center with Dr. Saad. I'm going to meet with him today about, if you haven't seen before, I did have breast augmentation and I'm going to meet with him about getting it fixed. I've had some issues with it and I'm not 100% happy and I'm kind of sick of having to deal with it. So I'm hoping that he can, number one, answer my questions, and number two, I'm kind of hoping that he's the doctor at this point that I can go with and trust. He is a fellow CrossFitter, which if you pay attention to that other video that I've posted, that is key, is being an athlete, having somebody understand the kind of physical activity that I put myself under every day. So he'll be able to hopefully walk me through getting back into fitness post-op if he's the doctor that I go with. So let's go find out how this consultation is going to go.
Hey guys.
Hello.
How's it going? So, Kristen, today we're going to talk about revision of your breast, right?
Yes.
All right. So tell me. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your history, about your breast surgeries and what you've had done.
Okay, so before my daughter was born, I had my breasts done. Before I got married, they were under the muscle, which was great at the time because I wanted a more natural look. I believe I was like 350 to 400 cc's of saline.
And how big were your breasts at the time?
I was completely flat chested.
Okay.
A cup, barely an A. Very lean, not super into fitness at the time. So recovery really wasn't, I didn't really even have any questions about recovery at that point because it wasn't my lifestyle. Fast forward, got married, had a kid, and breastfeeding just crushed my breasts. So they were completely stretched out, they were sagging, and not to mention now I'm into CrossFit, so everything I did, I felt like they were constantly like underneath my armpits, so they would constantly just move to the side when I did muscle ups or push ups or ring dips, anything that would activate my chest. Even like bench press, they would just spread out because I was so, I guess, overdeveloped in my pecs.
Right.
So I had done some research and I wanted them done over the muscle to keep them from moving around so much.
Gotcha.
So that's what I did. They didn't do a lift at the time. I wanted something, but it wasn't deemed necessary.
Okay.
So now I feel like they're just hanging again. So
that's your biggest concern is the way they're sitting.
Yeah, I want them up. Like I have fake boobs. I feel like everybody knows I have fake boobs. I want them elevated, I guess.
Okay. And when was your last breast surgery?
About 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you have any history of breast cancer in your family?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
So only one in your family?
Yeah.
We ask that question because of the genetics of breast cancer. We always want to make sure that there's no risk of you, or low risk of you having breast cancer before we do any kind of breast surgery. So this will be your third breast surgery, and this is another revision. And so each time we do a revision, we have to look at what's wrong with the breast and how we can improve that. You like having the implant on top of your muscle, and most of the times in my practice in the country, we put them under the muscle, but sometimes we do put them on top of the muscle in athletes and in people who really feel they're inhibited with that. So we'll probably keep them in the same spot. I'll need to examine you in order to really see what we need to do. Recovery from any revision breast surgery is usually going to be 1 to 2 weeks depending on what we're doing. If we have to do some advanced techniques, it can be even longer, 3 to 4 weeks. But because you already have the pocket developed, the pain isn't as bad as it was probably the first time you had surgery. Yeah, less stretching, exactly. And so you can get back into your regular routine fairly quickly. Now, someone like you that's a professional athlete, you really got to be careful because you're moving a lot more weight than the average person. But the average person can probably get back into weightlifting. Or I've done CrossFit athletes under the muscle that are back to their normal selves within 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh wow, that's fast.
Yeah, it's not too bad these days. I usually use silicone implants. I generally leave it up to the patient. I like silicone implants because I think they sit a little better. And especially if you're on top of the muscle, you can have rippling of a saline implant because all it is essentially is a water balloon. It's filled with water, so you can see the rippling. With silicone, I think it looks a little better. You see less rippling.
Right.
And they have some next generation implants that are really nice that I think we'll probably use for you that are extra filled. That'll give you a really nice shape.
Right.
Do you have any questions so far?
No, I do have silicone now.
Okay. Yeah, I generally will change the implant out if it's been over a few years, and depending on your skin envelope, bigger, to fill that envelope a little more.
Okay.
All right. Next step is we'll get you into gown, and I'll examine you, figure out what's going on, and see what we can do to improve it.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. I'll step out. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
All right. Stand up for me. Down here. I'm just going to take some measurements first, okay? Relax. I know it's hard. I'm used to like posing.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you need me to flex?
No. Left breast 13. Let's go into that. Right breast 13 and a half. Left breast 22. Right breast 21 and a half. So your breasts are a little bit different. Everyone's breasts are a little bit different. This breast is a little wider than this one, and the nipple sits just a little bit higher.
Okay.
What I see just looking at you is that your nipples are in good position. And when we talk about that, it's from the sternal notch, which is right at the bottom of the throat, to the nipple. And yours is 21, 22 centimeters. And that's our goal in aesthetic surgery. The other thing we notice about you is that you have what's called pseudotosis. Tosis is a word that means sagging.
Okay.
Normal ptosis, where the nipple sags below the fold of the breast. You don't have that. Your nipple's in good position. Okay. But your tissue, and the tissue is your implant, has sagged below the fold. So we need to address that somehow. And I think if I just push your implant up like this, you see how much nicer the implant sits and how much nicer your breast looks. So you need support on the bottom of your breast. The way we do that in aesthetic surgery and also in reconstruction is we have to put an internal bra. An internal bra can be a material that we actually get from other human beings. It's called acellular dermal matrix, and it comes from cadavers, and they take the skin off and then they take all the cells out and they just leave the structure. I know it sounds really scary, but we use it all the time in breast reconstruction when they have breast cancer. I think that's what you really need to sit the implant up and in, because if we just do this for you, just by me holding my hand like that, everything looks great. And we
can they come up higher than that? Is that?
Well, this is where we're going to want it to sit. Okay. But you're also going to get a bigger implant because your skin is a little bit loose around everything. And I have to dissect this pocket a little to get the implant to sit higher.
What does that mean?
Dissect means when I'm inside, so I make an incision underneath there, I use what's called electric cautery, which is electricity, to separate the skin from the overlying muscle. You probably have scar tissue there from your previous surgery, so I have to release that scar tissue to allow the implant to sit up and in. And it's going to give you nice cleavage. This is kind of the look you want, right? This is what you're looking for as compared to that. And honestly, you don't need a ton. But you'll do great just by moving the implant up and in, providing that internal support, going with a bigger breast implant. Recovery from that, you can sit back down. So again, you don't really need a true lift. You just need repositioning of your implant. But I think you're a good candidate for that. We can get you to look a lot better that way. Right. Any questions for me?
As far as recovery, you say 3 to 4 weeks. Is that 3 to 4 weeks until I can weight train, or 3 to 4 weeks till I can I get on an assault bike or something? Can I sweat a little bit?
No, you can't sweat for 1 to 2 weeks.
So that's a good question.
Yeah, but the reason for that is the moisture will breed an environment that bacteria will thrive
because of the incision.
Right, and so we have to let the incision heal completely. One of the worst things that can happen in breast implants is an infection. Because it's a foreign device, if bacteria get on it, the body can't clear that infection. The only way to clear it is to remove the breast implant. And that just leads to a whole disaster. See, it's scar tissue and everything, so it's really, really important not to sweat. I don't even let patients shower for a week, which they hate me for, but it's purely for safety
Sponge
purposes. Yep, sponge bath. Chris is on duty here. You just got to be really careful with the moisture, because that just breeds an environment for bacteria to get in. So no sweating for 1 to 2 weeks. After 1 to 2 weeks, I let people get back into their routine, but I usually don't encourage really heavy lifting for 3 to 4 weeks. That's more for the under the muscle people, because when we do under the muscle, we have to cut part of the chest muscle. And so that muscle by definition is torn or weak. And you can imagine if you have a muscle injury and you go and try to stress that muscle.
I've torn my pec before.
Right, exactly. Imagine trying to work that out really hard right after. It's really, you have to wait for it.
Virtually impossible.
So you have to wait for that to set. So I've done other CrossFit athletes before under the muscle. They get back to normal, but it takes them a little while. So usually I say 1 to 2 weeks of nothing, then you can start to get into normal activity at 3 to 4 weeks, but
normal activity being
go back to the gym, you can, you know, lift lightly, you can, you know, start to do CrossFit stuff, but like say you took 2 weeks off for vacation, you wouldn't go back and try a max deadlift right away, right? Maybe you would.
Be a nice deload.
But you know, it's like if you haven't been in the gym for a while, you don't go back and just go right to it. You work yourself back into it. And so that's usually what my advice to everybody.
Okay.
Now, you can only give as much advice as people listen to.
Right. No, I'll listen. I don't wanna have to go through this again.
I always tell people, listen to your body. If you're doing something and it doesn't feel right, stop doing it.
That's the hard thing with me. And I don't feel pain, which I've always said was like this great thing, but now that I'm 33, I know that's not necessarily a great thing.
Right.
Because I know that I let myself push harder, and sometimes that could lead to more injury.
Yeah.
So if I feel good, sometimes it's not always the best thing. So you might have to be a little bit more, if you don't mind, be a little bit more like, no, don't do this, don't back squat, don't do, you know, you might just have to tell me a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm getting myself into.
Right.
I mean, you CrossFit too,
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So I would say, right, you don't want to do any heavy snatches, anything overhead is really not encouraged. Any heavy cleans, anything where you can hit your chest is not that great. You know, but if you want to do body weight stuff, you know, burpees, pull-ups, that's all
the 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's at 3 to 4 weeks. And then after that, you can start getting back into weightlifting. And again, this is specific to you. Everyone's going to be a little different. And it's specific to you because of that internal sling we have to put in.
Right.
If we were just doing an implant exchange at 2 weeks, I would say go nuts.
Okay.
Just because it's, you know, the pocket's developed. We're just taking one implant out, putting another one in. I call it changing the tires. But, you know, that's what we're doing in a normal surgery. But for you, you need a little bit more work.
Okay.
And so your recovery's going to be a little more protracted.
Okay. How is this procedure going to work? I'm going to come in.
Okay, so the day of surgery, you come in the morning, I mark you up as far as I put markings on you, look at where I want to put the implants. I've already ordered the implants ahead of time. I based the size on the size of the breast and the chest. And
that was one of my questions too. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I was doing with those measurements. I was measuring what's called your base width, which is how wide your chest is.
Okay.
And then the other one, I was checking the nipple position, and that's just see if you need a lift. Okay. So I choose the implant based on the width of the chest.
Okay.
And then there's different profiles you can get, moderate profile, high profile. With someone like you who is looking to have more of an augmented look, we use a higher profile implant because it sticks off the chest more.
Makes sense.
For someone that wants, you know, to be less obvious, we use a moderate profile. So I've already picked that out. We take you back to the operating room, put you to sleep. I'll use the incision underneath the breast because I need access to the whole capsule. I'll go in, I'll find the old implant, remove that. I'll give it to you if you want it, but generally throw it in the trash. And then I'll start working on the inside of your breast. So I'll create the internal bra with the material that I'm going to use, sew that in place with some stitches. Then I'll put the new implants in, and then I close you up. In general, I don't use drains, but in you I will, only because of that material that I put in can create fluid. And fluid formation can really lead to a lot of complications. So for you, you're going to have drains, but I would say 99% of the people that have revision breast augmentation or primary don't need drains.
Okay.
But in this one situation, you need them.
Okay. And how long do they last for?
Generally, it's 1 to 2 weeks. Everyone hates them. They hate me for them, but you know, it's what you need to heal. And what I was talking about, allowing that tissue to heal in, fluid gets in the way of that healing, so we can't have that.
Okay.
So the drains are going to be 1 to 2 weeks. Depends how much is coming out of them.
Do I come in?
So that you go home the same day, and then you're going to come see me in the office the next week, and I see you weekly until I'm happy with everything.
Okay.
So, but that's usually just 1 or 2 visits, and then we kind of space it out after that.
Okay.
In the future, you know, we still need proper breast health, which means mammograms, not yet, but everyone always asks me how long the implants last. You know, the manufacturer tells us they're good for 10 years, but it's like your car is good for 5 years.
Right.
You know, they last likely much longer than that. And it's more likely that your body will change before the implant ruptures. But a lot of people ask that question.
Because me too. So the working out is obviously an issue, but sex?
Sex,
Like, when does that, I feel like that's important.
It's a really common question.
Okay.
It's something a lot of people don't ask, and sometimes honestly I forget to mention.
It's almost like working out.
I consider sex the same as regular exercise. So
Okay.
again, you can't really sweat, and you can't cause trauma to the area,
Okay.
meaning boyfriends or husbands getting too excited at the new
Right.
new additions.
The new tires.
Yeah, so it's at least 1 to 2 weeks, the same thing. You gotta let that incision heal, you gotta let things settle. So
Okay. Yeah. I think that was it. Okay. I think we covered everything.
all right, get excited.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Do you have any competitions between now and then, or you're kind of done?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Next week I'm cutting. Right now I have Pro Women's World, so it'll be my first Strongman Pro show next Saturday. So I weigh in a week from tomorrow, and 3 weeks from that. So the 28th and 29th, I think, is the weekend of October. I'll have
27, 28.
27, 28th.
Born on the 28th.
Oh, well, almost happy birthday. I have NAS Nationals, which is actually the only competition I thought I was going to have this fall, and I ended up with 2 extra ones kind of bumped in. I mean, 3 huge competitions in an 8-week period, so.
So be ready for some time off. Then.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Chris. I think I'm going to be, people always say like, well, when are you taking a break? When are you taking a break? And there's always something that comes up, and I never say no. If there's a competition on deck, like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so this will be the first time I actually take some time off in a couple of years. So it's probably overdue. I
Yeah.
know I'm going to freak out when my muscle tone goes down, because I know I freaked out the last time I did this.
Come back.
It scared me. That I got very emotional. So
Okay.
I know that scares me, but I know it's needed. I know I need a little bit of time
For sure.
off.
All right.
Hopefully not too much, but
But the right amount.
yeah. I know NAS Nationals at the end of October, if I do really well, 1, it could get me my pro card. 2, it could qualify me again for the Arnold's in March. Is that too overzealous
No.
to think March to compete?
I mean, how you know?
Strongman, so there's no pull-ups.
I think that'll be fine. I think
Okay.
March is a reasonable time.
Okay.
Do the surgery in the beginning of November. You'll be ready to go. Say fully training by mid-December. Back to 100% by then for sure.
Okay.
And I don't know how long you need to train, but I assume 3 months is reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lose my muscle awareness.
No.
My body awareness will be there, so it'll.
I would say it takes most people 2 to 3 weeks of active work to get back to where they were for high-level people.
Okay, that's fair. Sounds doable.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we'll see you
right.
in November.
Well, that was a crazy day. I am really excited. I was really nervous going into this because, I mean, let's face it, this will be my 3rd breast augmentation, which at 33 years old, I feel like that could be a little excessive, but on the other hand, you only live once, and if there's something you're not happy about and you can fix it, why wouldn't you just fix it? So that's kind of where I am at right now. I'm not happy with them, and I said that in my last vlog, or a while ago in that one vlog that I did, and I really like Dr. Saad. I think that I got a lot of really good information. I think I got a lot of really good information for you guys too, so if you have any questions, hopefully I was able to cause him to answer them for you. If nothing else, you definitely got a front row seat as to what a breast augmentation consultation looks like. There's a lot of great information, and like I've said before, I'll say it a million times, if you don't feel comfortable asking a question to your doctor, he's the wrong doctor for you. I asked every question that I could possibly think of in my head, even some questions that I've gotten just randomly, like through my DMs over the years. I mean, everybody basically, you could tell that I had my boobs done. It's no secret. I'm public about it. It's fine. So even like questions that like I didn't even think of myself, I was asking. I think it's important to feel comfortable enough with the doctor that you can ask any question that comes to your head. Number 2, be as direct as possible. Like I said, Dr. Saad is a CrossFitter. He's familiar with what I do every day. I still force him to come out and be specific on getting back into training, because that is so important to me. Don't be afraid to push the buttons and make them be honest and direct with you. There was nothing that he said that scared me, other than the fact that there's 2 weeks with no fitness and no sweating, which I kind of knew, but I still hate that. It's not that it scares me, I just hate that, but it's fine because I haven't taken any time off in a really, really, really long time. So my body, as much as my mind is not, my body is probably looking forward to the thought of taking some time off. I definitely have a decision to make. I definitely like Dr. Saad. I like the Plastic Surgery Center. So I guess the big question is, am I gonna do it? We'll see. Good night, guys.